Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be speaking about whether or not you should catch your follow through on your forehand side. Now, this topic is an important one and it comes up quite a lot with the players that I coach. They often ask me, do I need to catch my forehand like this every time I hit a forehand shot? And why does it help my forehand? Well, in today's video, I'm going to discuss the types of players that I think catching the follow through on the forehand side is a good idea for, and also the players that is not really appropriate for. And in addition, I'm going to talk about the benefits of catching the racket and why for some players this is a good habit to try and get into on the majority of forehands that they hit. Now, I'm going to get straight into it by saying if you're a beginner or a club player that struggles with consistency on their forehand side, then getting into the habit of catching the racket on your follow through on your forehand side is a good idea. However, if you're more of an intermediate to advanced player and you've been playing for many years and you've got an ingrained technique on that forehand side and you find that your forehand's pretty consistent for you, you find you make a lot of balls, then I wouldn't really recommend catching the follow through on your forehand side. I think for more advanced players and intermediate players, simply following through and ensuring that this non-dominant hand does move around the shot with you so it allows your shoulders to rotate, then that's completely fine if you're not catching the racket every single time on that forehand side. However, for beginner players, it's a good idea to catch the racket on the follow through because it ingrains a correct technique. Because with many beginner players, I find a common mistake is that they don't use their non-dominant hand and it ends up flopping down here, and this then blocks the full rotation of your hitting side of your body into the shot. So you see, if I have my hand down here, I'm blocking my ability to really rotate. Or if I wrap around, I'm blocking my ability to rotate into the shot effectively, which helps with power production and also accuracy. So with this mistake, the forehand stroke turns into a stroke where you're only using your dominant arm for producing all the power onto the shot, which is a very ineffective way to hit a forehand. So for beginners, catching the racket on the follow through for the forehand is a good idea because it will help you learn how to use your whole kinetic chain on that forehand side. So if you watch me here, when I don't catch my follow through and I end up wrapping around, there's such limited rotation in my core and in my shoulders that the only power that I'm getting from my shot is just from this arm here, which is very ineffective. Whereas when I catch the racket, I have no choice but to let this non-dominant hand get out the way of this side of my body so that I can rotate my shoulders and my core all the way into the shot and catch the racket up here around my shoulder. When you go out and start hitting forehands, you'll see the real difference that this makes. To focus on what your non-dominant hand is doing and catching it up here. So if you have the same follow through, it means that roughly you have the same swing path in each forehand that you hit. And as a beginner or an intermediate player that's struggling with consistency, that's a really key thing to try and achieve in order to gain a more consistent forehand over time and to get your swing path into your muscle memory. So when you're first starting out, gaining a consistent rally forehand that you can rely on is super important, that you are getting that same swing path over and over again, so it's built-in muscle memory. So like I said, I'm not an advocate for catching your racket on every single shot, especially if you're a more advanced player, because when you go out and you play matches, you're not going to have that nice rallying ball that a coach will feed to you or your hitting partner will feed to you, where you can simply get that same swing path every time and catch here. Your opponent in a tennis match is going to give you difficult balls to deal with, deep balls, wide balls, and with these different types of balls, you're going to have different follow throughs every time. So you might have a looped follow through like this on a deep ball if you're trying to lob your opponent. And what does that mean? It means you're trying to get under the ball and create more topspin to get height on the ball. Whereas if you're in an attacking situation and you've received a short ball, you're going to come up to the ball and you're most likely going to be hitting, if the ball bounces high, you're most likely going to be hitting down onto the ball to hit the ball powerfully and to take time away from your opponent. So your swing path on an attacking ball might be from here to a low position. So again, the follow through changes depending on what you're trying to do with the shot. However, again, I come back to the beginners and intermediate players that are struggling with their consistency and want to gain a more consistent swing path. Where should you catch the racket then? So you should try and catch the racket around your shoulder. Sometimes it's a good idea, if you want some more topspin, to catch over the shoulder here, or most of the time it's around this shoulder here. And you'll even see professional players like Medvedev, he catches his racket pretty much every time he hits a forehand shot. Obviously not all the time. There are a lot of shots where he's pushed out wide and he will finish up here, but he does try a lot of the time to catch that racket. The most important thing though is that you get into a position where your shoulders have rotated from this coiled position here to an open position. So you're rotating those shoulders. So if you want to implement this into your forehand swing, then practicing this with shadow swings is a really, really good idea. So every day, maybe try and do a couple of minutes a day of just taking your racket and getting those shadow swing reps. If you have a tennis partner to play with, get them to drop balls to you and just really work on getting that follow through. Hitting up and down in the middle of the court, working on consistency drills such as how many balls you can make as a pair in 5 minutes is a good idea as well. And you can even just drop the balls to yourself and hit as well and focus on getting that follow through. Okay guys, that's the end of this video. I hope you really enjoyed it and found it useful. If you did, then please give this video a like and also subscribe to my channel for more videos like this one to come. And guys, if you'd like more help on your forehand side, then down in the description box below I have a free resource for you called the Forehand Blueprint. Now this guide walks you through each aspect of the forehand stroke step by step with visual aids and instructions to really help you level up your forehand. So if you want help with that forehand side, then go and download that one in the description box below. And guys, I'll see you in my next video.